And welcome to my talk for this week. When you listen to this, I will be in Vancouver, attending the National Conference of the Mission to Seafarers Canada. I've been the liaison bishop for this organization since just before COVID. So this is going to be the first opportunity I will have to meet with people who have only been faces in the Hollywood squares of Zoom. The mission was founded in the southwest of England in the 1830s, when the Reverend John Ashley and his son, also called John, were standing on the beach looking at all the ships anchored in the Bristol Channel. The boy asked his father how the sailors on board ship could get to church on a Sunday, and that, it is said, inspired the ministry. The Seafarers Mission, as it's now called, works in over 200 ports across the world and has over 180 chaplains. Locally, the Reverend Eric Finney serves in the port of St. John, and Miss Helen Glenn leads the ministry in Halifax. Currently, there are discussions going on in St. John's, Newfoundland, about developing the work in that city. Today we hear a great deal about the interruptions in the supply chains, and we see the effects when we notice the gaps on our store shelves. Many of the products we enjoy come to us by sea. The pandemic has made seafaring a difficult and dangerous task even harder. Instability and poverty around the world mean that seafarers can be on board ship for greater lengths of time than they were contracted for. This means they spend more time away from their families. There are also times when they're not paid what they are due, or even at all. Piracy is an issue in some parts of the globe. COVID has meant that in some cases, sailors have been unable to come ashore when in port, and that is still the case in certain parts of the world. Part of the job of mission chaplains and the mission itself is to advocate for seafarers across the world. We can play our part in supporting this ministry by praying, giving financially, and volunteering. The role of the seafarer is often greatly underestimated because we seldom see the ships which supply us as they're out on the high seas most of the time. The history of the Seafarers Mission shows us something very important as we seek for new ways for sharing the good news of Jesus. As I said earlier, the whole thing began when a boy saw a need and voiced it. His father was inspired by that question to begin the ministry. Initially, money was raised for a mission cutter called Erin to sail out to the moored vessels in the Bristol Channel. A main cabin was able to be converted to a chapel for 100 people. A simple question asked by a boy on a beach in 1835 developed into funds being raised to build Erin, which was launched in 1839, and from there a worldwide ministry has grown. How did that happen? Firstly, the Reverend John Ashley took his son's question seriously. Then God's Holy Spirit enabled the mission to grow out from there. As we seek to move the mission of God forward in our region, let's be prepared for listening to the promptings of the Holy Spirit, no matter how apparently insignificant they might sound. Once again, thank you for listening. God bless and have a good week.